Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Surprise! Welcome back, traders.
I'll wake
Today
up to
we
it.
have a video going over AMC and GameStop as well as IWM and what the broader market is doing. I do believe that we're going to continue to see the broader stock market rally if this uncertainty around war continues to clear up. As you can see, the stock market went from extreme fear, almost touching in the single digits, all the way back up to fear. Crypto's still sitting in extreme fear because what is new, traders? I wanted to cover this post from Adam Aaron because I thought it was brilliant. Say what you want about my man, Adam Aaron. He did cover a pretty awesome theater post going over Super Mario Brothers, right? Project Hail Mary, and so many other movies that led to AMC's entertainment highest record revenues globally for a 5-day Easter weekend, Wednesday to Sunday, in our company's 106-year history, guys. That is literally why you're seeing these boom boom candles on AMC. That's Neo. We'll go over that later. AMC, guys, is the freaking story that we want to talk about today, because even though GameStop is doing so much in the background, AMC is doing so much actively every day, right? You can look at the chart, and really the chart tells the story. You're up almost 50% from the lows, practically 50%, leaving multiple gaps in the background, right? So you're leaving multiple technical landmarks that you're going to have to go and figure out later, but I'm not too worried about that right now, and I'm going to tell you why, right? Currently on AMC, you have really shown crazy amounts of strength on the RSI, right? You've gone all the way from oversold to overbought in the period of about 10 or so trading days, right? That's insane. You almost never see that in the stock market. And so the fact that you are on AMC, sorry, the Pellegrino's getting me. The fact that you are on AMC is showing some extreme strength from the bulls here. And typically, right, even though this is a bad sign for the longevity of the momentum, typically once you reach the bull zone, right, that's where your biggest moves happen. And so if you want to see this thing begin to get squeezy, right, on the short-term period, because that's what we want to see on AMC, you're looking for this thing to go into the green zone, right? Go up to 80, because you have not been there since back all the way back of May of 2025, right? This is the last time you were in that territory, and you can see this slow and steady buildup of momentum as this U-shaped double bottom. That's a pitch perfect Adam and Eve, by the way, if you guys were wondering, right? Sharp V-line, U-shape. So you take that neckline, put it on top of the neckline. That's your profit target theoretically, but you got into the bull zone and you freaking shot up 23.77% in one single day, traders. That's huge, right? Your previous trading days were 0 and then 10.5. So what I'm expecting here on AMC is a little bit of a blow off top, because that is the behavior that you're showing right now, right? You're showing that you are not worried about gaps. You're not worried about horizontal resistance, and you have so much air in this bubble above you. Maybe a period of consolidation around 144, but truthfully, traders, it's kind of green grass, right? This thing is kind of good to run until 150, and I expect it to do no other than that. It might even be one trading day, right? Because that is currently 15% away from where you're at. So I would not be surprised to see you just shoom, right? Because that's the behavior that you're exhibiting on AMC. Now, I am worried genuinely that the gap at 112 and 128 are going to come all the way back to fill. But the beautiful thing is, we're not worried about that right now. We are not worried about that right now, because there's a good chance you come up here, bump your head, find some kind of base, right? Maybe you come down to fill the gap here. And then that's a shoulder, head, shoulder. And that profit target would be insane, right? Bam. Pow. 255. That would be crazy, crazy, crazy on AMC. But really, that would show some solid strength here on the macro for you to put in an inverted head and shoulders and then finally, right, break this trend line, this stubborn freaking thing that has smacked you down time and time and time again, all the way back predating June 2021, right? You see all the rejections here. The most recent one sent you to your all-time low. Testing that and breaking it, traders, would be the most significant thing on AMC aside for crossing the 200-day EMA. And that currently sits at 211, traders, currently going down. And I expect it to continue after this move down to really slope down. So crossing that, guys, getting that upside momentum, getting above that trend line and crossing the 200-day EMA would be the first step in a macro recovery that you would be looking at this thing potentially getting back into the $10 to $20 territory, right? That is your step one. And the fact that we're seeing signs of that at $1 is a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? You currently on the daily, you have the 9-day EMA rocket shipping up to the 50. You're currently holding base above the 50-day EMA for the first time in a very, very long time, traders. Currently holding a base, I would say, for the first time since July of 2025. So you want to see this momentum continue to hold on AMC, and you want to see this cross to the upside, because honestly, I could not tell you the last time you had that cross. It was right here when you got a fake cross. You got the cross and saw a 7% move up. But really, this is a beautiful, beautiful move every single time, right? This was when you started to see squeeze candles, right? 10%, 4%, and then 23%. This cross, the 9 through the 50, shows the short-term trend is overpowering your mid-term trend, right, traders? So that's what we want to see. We want to see this thing continue to chop around, right? Chippity chop, chippity chop. Whoops. Guess we're going back in time. Continue to chop however long this takes, right? And eventually, this thing is going to catch a bid, and hopefully, even if you're peeling back here, you can find that as support and rock it in to the $2 territory. That is our ultimate goal as you continue to see volume step in here in a beautiful, beautiful way, seeing an increase from yesterday and a bullish spinning top candlestick pattern, or an inverted hammer candle. I would lean both ways, right? You have a longer candlestick period here, so it is possible that this is an inverted hammer candle, which would mean back-to-back hammers. Up. Up. You see a beautiful, beautiful volume, even though we're at Wednesday, traders, on the week. In comparison, I do expect this to finish higher with a higher candlestick on the weekly. You're currently trading above the 9-day EMA on the weekly time frame for the first time since October, which is a beautiful sign of a macro recovery. You have so much air going all the way up to 150, like we talked about. On the monthly time frame, this is going to be your first green month, traders. If you could hold above, drum roll, 134. No, if you could hold above $1 this month, one schmeckle, you're going to have a green close for the first time in half a year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, first green close on the monthly in half a year. And then the quarterly chart, guys. This is where we lock in, because you could see you are so dangerously close to getting this quarterly MACD cross for the first time since 2021. I want to see this happen, because this would be, right, the first time seeing that happen since these two candles, right? The retail revolution, squeeze mania, Fed printing money, crypto to the moon, right? All these beautiful risk on assets running. And I think it's in tandem with an IWM run, right? You're seeing some beautiful momentum, even though it was a terrible hangman candlestick, kind of retracing from the open, because you opened at 261 and closed at 260. You still closed towards the top, but inevitably, right, you saw a beautiful breakout of this triple bottom here on IWM, and you're seeing the same thing on IWM that you are AMC. you're seeing the 9-day EMA about to slice through the 50. When that happens, I anticipate you may not even consolidate and give up all these gains, right? You may just rocket ship into this gap fill, currently sitting at 269.35 or 268.94. Sorry. That is our thesis, right? Because you are seeing on the macro of IWM a cup and handle with a retest. You came all the way back to the 50-day EMA, which you so often do, traders. You saw it here, right? V-shape, retest the 50, and then you ran. And then you also saw it here, right? You had an inverted head and shoulders in 2016. You came all the way back after breaking it, retested the 50. Hard to see, but you can see it right there. And then you saw a 10% week the very next week. So I am anticipating off of this test, right? You're starting to see the move off of it. You saw a beautiful hammer candle, but I need to see the volume on IWM, right? The buyers step in here. Otherwise, this is potentially another higher low in the schematic. And if that's the case, you should see a nasty rejection and a bunch of gap fills on a bunch of small cap stocks, right? That is a possibility, as this could turn into some kind of longer term triangle formation. Very, very possible. So that's what we're watching for on IWM. It looks bullish as all get out. It really, really does. Fear and greed coming back. Adam Aaron posting, bull posting, continuing to as box office continues to smash, and AMC chart looking the best it's honestly looked in a very, very long time. A very long time. I really anticipate to see some chop here and potentially fill the gap sitting down here. And AMC said absolutely not. It's not what we do here. We continue to go up, only up. So it's a beautiful thing, right? Beautiful, beautiful thing on Amy. I expect volume tomorrow. GME, seeing a little bit of a nothing burger today, even though there was a lot of hype around Cassandra Unchained, a.k.a. Michael J. Burry, the Big Short, talking about GameStop. And I really have not seen anything online about it, but you do have this beautiful U-shaped accumulation structure here that I do believe is going to follow with the rest of the market. Now you open at 23.70. This is what's kind of disappointing. You closed all the way down at 22.91. So you're showing a little bit of weakness here, closing below every single indicator after opening above every single indicator, right? Closed below the 200, below the 50, below the 9. The only encouraging thing here is volume was piss poor, so take that with a grain of salt, right? You're still trading within this bullish flag formation or pennant or falling wedge after breaking out of this ginormous falling wedge, right? And the more you zoom out and the more you trade sideways here, the more you can argue that not only did you just get a green MACD cross in the daily from the underneath the center line, which is bullish, right? Not only are you trading within this falling wedge, but you also have a little bit of a inverted head and shoulders here, right? Where you saw a base, shoulder, head, base, and now I'm expecting a push back up to $28. I think it's very, very possible, and in my opinion, likely when you take the flagpole of this breakout, right? That takes you upwards and kind of smashing your head against this three rising valleys, one bottom, higher high, one bottom, higher low, higher high, and potentially a higher low into a higher high, right? That would be very symmetrical with these tops, and I would expect this thing to top out somewhere around $30 to $28 around these gap fills, right? On the short term, I actually like GameStop here. I like to buy the fear because there's no reason that this thing should be trading underneath $23. In my opinion, not financial advice. I think you have a lot going for you on the fundamental side. You've beat 7 earnings in a row, and everybody and their mother is going to start to talk about this stock again. I do believe. On the weekly time frame, still avoiding your weekly MACD cross down, but also still pinched between the 50 and the 200. You could see literally the bottom and the top of the candle consolidating between the two. You will find a direction this week or the next, in my opinion, because this thing will not just trade sideways forever. On the monthly, whole lot of jack, right? Jack squat. 4 hour, still actually holding this uptrend. So that is hopeful. That is hopeful. Unless this is just a move down bear flag and then a broader move down. Possible, right? You have this established little channel here. Theoretically, if that was the case, you're going to go down to what? Your uptrend at 2040. So that is actually quite symmetrical. Very possible. But we'll see. Seems like any algorithm on GameStop is trading any and all algorithms because it's dry. It's very, very dry. All right, let's do the GME warrants for my boy Only in Paradise, and then we will wish you all adieu. GME warrants. Let's go to the weekly time frame. Seeing a rejection on the weekly and a cross down on the weekly MACD. Not a good sign overall. Very, very heavy volume here on the daily. Seeing a minus 4.6% day and kind of what we expected here, right? A close beneath the 200-day EMA. And that was your first close beneath the 200-day EMA since we talked about it since down here, right? And truthfully, this has been a pretty good buying zone, a pretty good value zone for the GME warrants. I do expect you to dip down, fill the gap, and then honestly, I think upside, in my opinion, not financial advice. You have a gap sitting at 329, but let the sellers figure out what they want to do, right? I wouldn't buy into the knife, in my opinion. I'm going to wait for a little bit more clarity here, right? You want to see lower selling volume. Right now, you're seeing high rising selling volume, right? And you want to see some kind of candle close that gives you distinguish that the trend is ending, right? Because the trend right now is not your friend. Now, no siree, right? You're seeing a current minus 21%, and the gap fill would be minus 26. So somewhere around this territory, I would look to pick up shares. And I would probably add pretty aggressively. There is a possible for a double bottom here and then a bounce out, but I think it's unlikely due to the volume. And we've kind of finagled this trend line, but it's pretty clear you've broken down here and you've actually retested twice this uptrend and now rejected it. So you need to find some kind of overall base before you could look to either regain this or create a new foundation, right? A new fundamental trend. But that's all I got today for AMC, GameStop, and IWM. The market looks bullish. It wants to come back. But overall, might need a little bit more consolidation to fill all of the gaps. And you need the 2-week ceasefire to remain in place. That's all I got, guys. God bless each and every single one of you. Make sure to slap the subscribe button, like the video, because it's been helping get the algorithm push as much as we possibly can. We're up to 14, 15 traders, as you can see, this slow and steady grind up. That's our goal, right? We want to get to 2K within the next 3 months. So every subscribe is meaningful, genuinely. So God bless all of you, and I will see you in the next video. But remember, the best is yet to come.